Today, we're going to be pulling and cleaning a 5-ton evaporator for a carrier. It is 5 years old, not properly filtered, and is now full of hair, dust, you name it. It's absolutely atrocious. They took advantage of this poor couple after a hurricane, and this is the kind of install they get. And this is just how I do it. Tear the drain pan apart, the top plate apart, and just go to town.
I didn't realize once I was recording that how loud this hose really was. I'm pretty much just sitting there rambling on about how you want to get all these massive bits of hair, drywall dust, and everything out first. You might as well just use a hose. Really no need to apply the chemical first when the hose is really going to do the brunt of the work anyway. Afterwards, we can apply some chemical. I just use standard blue coil cleaner, and it gets rid of most of that stuff, especially the cigarette tar, which I suspect they've been smoking in the house. But yeah, I mean it seemed to be working pretty good.
And then once we're all finished, then we'll apply the chemicals. All right, now that we got most of the big stuff out, definitely you want to wear some gloves for this part, especially since I noticed that they have black and mild wrappers, so most of this is probably going to be full of tar and other, look at that, a whole husky in there. Kraft cheese wrappers, black and mild wrappers, real nasty stuff. We've gotten the majority of all of our junk out. Now it's time to apply some chemical. Now it's been sitting there for just a few seconds, but you can see how it's already starting to boil all of that junk out. Now I'm gonna have to hit this one a few times because, like I said, they probably were smoking in the house. That tar just really gets in there and it's real hard to clean, but this coil cleaner that boils it off, I mean, it does actually a phenomenal job, whether it's coils or anything. So it came out pretty good. I am gonna have to hit it a couple more times though. Like I said, that tar, it really is sticky, but this stuff seems to get it out really, really good. Let it sit for a little bit while it's on there, and it will boil anything and everything out of this coil. It truly is gonna look just about brand new when I'm finished with it. And also importantly, get the drain pan too. A little spritz of this stuff on there. Boil all that junk off. So it's already getting to it. That's what we want to see right there. All right, I've got it all put back together, all cleaned out, swedged everything to braze it back in. There's a few things on these carrier units I do not put back in. First of which are these little things. Don't put those in. I don't put in the clips that hold this together. This is an upflow application. I feel like it's just really not necessary. And the secondary drain pan. Now I know, what about this little hole? This is already a shit show of an install. We have a 1/2-inch liquid line, 1 1/8 suction for like 2/3 of it. I'm just not gonna worry about it. The drain line's all shit. I'm gonna have to replace all that. A little bit of tape right there is not gonna worry. This is a house flipper. I'm not even gonna really try. Normally also when I do this, I pull and clean the blower. This one, believe it or not, is not that bad. So it's staying in place. I'll doctor it up, kind of clean it up a little bit, the sides and all that. But no, for the most part, we're gonna braze it up, clean it up, get them going again. All right, our pressure test seems to be working pretty good, holding about 175 psi. Dryer's been replaced, and time to start the vacuum and cleaning all this garbage up. One thing I just couldn't help from looking at, I had to replace the insulation on this line set anyway. It goes from 1 1/8 from the old original system from the house, coupled together, bushing down to, it looks like 3/4 maybe, possibly even 5/8. Back up to 7. Nah, that must be 3/4. Back up to 7/8. Coupling, swage into. I mean, what were these guys thinking? They must have had. I mean, we got 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10, 11, 12. 12 brace joints, just, well, 13, 14, 15, 16, but we won't count that. 12 new brace joints, just on the suction line, with a 1/2 inch liquid line. This stuff's just, and that goes into a completely different direction. I don't even know where it goes. This shit you see out here in Florida. Alright, unfortunately they did not want to go with fixing all of that. They just wanted it pulled and clean. Like I said, this is a mess of an install. It was from after a massive hurricane, and they got screwed basically. But when I originally got here, we set it to cool and it was heating outside, so we've definitely got a problem there. Maybe a wire's broken or something, I don't know. But we're gonna figure it out. We're gonna button everything back together, make sure everything comes on and it works. Clean up the floor, put a new filter in it. Wrong sized filter. They called for a 20 by 24, which is what I put in. That's what I bought. That's what I prepared for. And because it's a carrier and it has that funky size 21 7/8 by 56 and go fuck yourself, it's the wrong size, which is partially why the coil was so dirty. But whatever, we're just gonna get it cleaned up, situated, testing, making sure that it's not low on refrigerant, and get the heck out of here. All right, figured out what the problem was. Long story short, our orange wire, which was black, was not getting a voltage, 24 volts to it from common, because it was broken somewhere in this jumble of mess here. Lord only knows. It broke. There could be a splice in it. Looks like there's several tape joints. It's only 6 lead wire, so thank goodness we had one extra. It works. Reversing valve switched over, and we are ready to start this up. All right, we are all wrapped up here. Everything seems to be checking out pretty good. Subcooling about 10. Does have a TXV in it. Mind the mess. Like I said, I'm not trying too hard for this job. They're getting cheap on us again. The unit didn't have any caps when I arrived, so I got some new brass caps to put on there. The unit's looking pretty good so far, believe it or not. New filter dryer put on, which was necessary. This is a 5-ton system, and they're really pushing it for 5 tons. It's ducted at about 1,750 CFMs. They really could have gotten away with 1,600, probably even less than that. I do believe this is an on-grade home. It's very old, sure, but it's freshly renovated. I mean, they're putting like, 6-inch, 7-inch drops inside of
spare bathrooms and all that. You know, I mean, it's kind of crazy what they've done here. But you know, after a Category 5 hurricane, contractors come in from all over the place, Louisiana, Texas, wherever. They make a few dollars and then they get the hell out. So this is what you're left with. If you liked it, you know, we are finished out here, putting on the last of these caps. But this just goes to show that this is what you find out here in Florida. Dirty, disgusting, wild installs. Florida's best. So yeah.